Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's me here, Kevin the Ninja, at the Moto Dojo. It's Wednesday, midweek. We're still grinding though. These snipers are proving to be very difficult to get these bloodthirsties. It's Tempest time, but it's also Snipe City. We've been having a lot of fun with these snipers overall. I have to say it's good to get back in the sniper grind. But yeah, it's been good working out this week. I feel like we're back from Freedom Weekend, hitting the ground running, and we're on our track to the next marathon. Our stream will be hitting this probably on July 26th. We're hoping to get that marathon done before the end of the month, July. We could use it. We got a lot of stress buildup we need to release, and it's just going to be a super fun event. We're hitting Infinite Warfare Zombies, Super Easter playing all the maps, plus the Mephistopheles boss fight at the end. So I hope you're going to be joining with us. That'll be on the 26th of this month. That's what I'm gearing towards. But today, we're just doing a 10K today. I hope you guys are working out. If you are, work out with me. Let's work out together. What do you say? Let's get this. Let's start the HUD. Let's start the workout, and let's just jump into a crunchy match. I'm just waiting for them to drop snipers only again, but yeah, it appears that we're not so lucky here. We're going to keep grinding these multiplayer maps until we get Singularity. We are 13 guns done out of 30, so that just leaves us with 17 left to go. Man, it feels great. We're almost halfway. So we'll see if we get a good pace up going. Yeah, I figured I'd do a 10K today just to get this kind of out of the way. I want to do a monster run on Sunday. We'll see how everything plays out. We need to at least get another 16 miles, but I'm shooting for 20. And if I can get 20 done that weekend, then I'm going to rest the following and just do some light runs. And then, yeah, hit July 26th, that Sunday, hard. If we can hit that, man, super hard, it'll be awesome. Let's get the treadmill up to speed. Let's get our pace going. Yeah, feeling nice and sore, which means that we're getting our grind on. I feel like if you're not waking up sore, you're not challenging yourself enough. Depends on the sore level and your physical exertion the previous day, which makes you feel as sore or not as sore. Sometimes people wake up sore because of just daily work, day-to-day stress, which is hard because we should be resting, we should be repairing. Those two words go hand in hand. When you're resting, we're repairing our body. And if we're waking up sore, even though we didn't have a physical, exhausting day the day before, that tells us our body's not repairing. And we have to kind of take a closer look at ourselves and see why. Because yeah, resting is repairing. Resting is the only time we usually go into autophagy, recycling of cells, unless you do fasting like me. If you're fasting every day, you're hitting high levels of autophagy, which is recycling cells and helping the body stay in that mode for longer. But yeah, I dare say, if you are waking up sore every day, you probably need more working out, which is interesting to say. Like, well, doesn't working out make you sore? Yeah, working out does make you sore. It should make you sore. Playing hard to get with this guy. Working out should make you sore. You should get to a level of soreness that is easy and manageable for you to maintain day after day. If you're waking up like really, really sore, like you can't move, then yeah, you probably had a really, really tough day. You probably had a lot of, either work or working out. Your work is physically tasking. And you should ultimately say to yourself, is this good sore or bad sore? You got to recognize the two. See, right now, I'm in good sore. I'm sore from yesterday's 4 miles. It's a good sore because I'm sore in those areas, my hips and my thighs. Shouldn't be sore on my feet because my feet take a lot of abuse. I make sure they always suffer. My feet carry me forward. My feet have gotten stronger over the years of running. So yeah, ask yourself, is this the good sore or the bad sore? And you can tell. Now, I dare say what I was thinking about earlier, how many people are sore without working out, without physical, working out, not a physical labor job. Maybe you're just standing around at work or getting, maybe 3,000 steps a day, not a whole lot. Why are you sore? Where are you sore? That's another thing. Are you sore in the shoulders? Are you tense up in the shoulders and the neck? then you're dealing with stress soreness, which comes from stress, like really, unless you're doing a lot of bending, lifting, pulling, pushing with your arms, moving your head, then yeah, that's stress. That's where stress hangs, and the weight that stress carries us is in our hips and thighs if you're a woman, or around the gut and the midsection if you're a guy. That's stress. That's how stress hits us. And so if you're finding yourself waking up and you're still tight in the neck and shoulders area, even though you got a good pillow, even though you got a good mattress, something's definitely not right, and you need to kind of readjust and reassess. And like I always say, there's 3 things that can help your body go back to optimal health, and that's insulin sensitivity, becoming more sensitive to insulin, autophagy, which is where you're in the process of recycling cells, repairing the body, and ketosis. Let's talk inflammation. Let's talk about insulin sensitivity. They go hand in hand. So inflammation is something that everyone experiences as they get older. When we have injuries, we have a buildup of inflammation in that certain area. We break a wrist, a knee, toe, like me, my ribs. Seems like I break a rib every year, which is something I need to get out of the habit of. Breaking ribs isn't that fun, kids. Don't do it. I've broken like 4 ribs in my life. 2 of them really bad, and 2 of them not so bad. And then I bruised a rib earlier this year, which I'm glad it was just bruised. It only took me like 2-3 weeks to get back. Boy. Yeah. Took a little spill on my motorcycle, and that, definitely, as soon as I landed on it, I'm like, yep, I bruised or broke a rib. I'm like, I could feel it. And so I definitely had to take some days lighter on working out. I was lucky enough to keep working out because I didn't break it. If I broke it, that's the hardest thing. If I broke a rib, that pain, you don't run. Bruised rib still hurts when you laugh, when you cough, sneeze, all those things. But having a broken rib, man, you can't do anything. You can't bend. It hurts even just to lay down sometimes. You have to really be in a good position, kind of an awkward position sometimes. And so what I would try to do is lay in awkward positions that would actually injure, in a way, my other parts of my body, because your body compensates when you do things like that. So what I would recommend is, 1, don't break a rib. If you are going to break a rib, watch out for your other parts of your body, because they could suffer as a result of you compensating the weight, their posture. Posture is everything. Like, breathing's everything, but posture is everything. I'm telling you, breathing and posture is what carry you in life. Having good posture, standing up straight, sitting straight, not kinking your neck, not bending down, that right there, unfortunately, is something that we see often because we have, our phones, right? Everything's down in front of us. We're always looking down. What I do in my monitors is, I have a computer job, and I am prone to, come on, get this guy. Get this guy. Come on, get this guy. He's not coming back. He's not coming back. He's not coming back. He's too smart. This is my last kill for this next bloodthirsty. But what our heads do, where the head goes, the body goes. If we are, oh my gosh, that guy's gonna get me. If we are always looking down, and we are always kinking our neck, so to speak, then our posture and our spine suffers greatly. And I know this because, there's some days where I know I need to straighten up. I have to force myself to straighten up. And it's hard because, sometimes, oh my gosh, that guy got me. Oh well, good kill, buddy, good kill. We'll get him next time, boys. Your posture will eventually get used to whatever you put it in. So you might think it's hard to stand up straight, it's hard to sit up straight, it's hard to look straight. On my computer desk, I have my monitors slightly raised, so I'm having to look up, which keeps my shoulders straight. I know too many people over the years that
might work computer jobs or at a computer desk, and they leave their monitors flat, or even their laptop flat. And yeah, that kinks the neck over time. Your posture hangs, you get that kind of hunch going, and boy oh boy, does that cause a ripple effect of problems throughout your spinal cord, basically. So you're going to be having this hunch, you're going to be having this bad posture that your body's going to get used to. The body will, again, get used to anything you do over time and just say, no, I'm used to doing this. So it's seemingly comfortable, but it's hurting you in other ways. So posture is everything. Also breathing. When we're looking down, we might be hanging our mouth. That's the one thing I've noticed about looking down, is our jaw will hang as well. When you pull it back, when you pull your head back and shoulders back, your jaw doesn't really hang, like it's not really hanging anymore. It's a weird concept, and also it correlates to breathing, because when our mouth is open, usually, not all the time, but usually you are breathing through your mouth, which is not good. Mouth breathing is not good. Do it under extreme circumstances, like you got a stuffy nose, I get it. It's sick, it's cold, you can't breathe through your nose, yeah, you gotta breathe through your mouth. But when you're constantly breathing through your mouth, all the time, a couple things happen. When you breathe through your nose, your follicles in your nose signal to the brain how much air you're getting and the temperature. And actually, the way that your air flows into your sinus cavity and into your lungs is actually temperature regulated. When you breathe through your nose, your body is getting the right temperature of oxygen. Also, it's getting the right amount to fill up the lungs. When you're running and when you're breathing through your nose, your body knows, hey, this is how much air I'm getting, and so I'm gonna keep, going with this amount of air, and that's how it regulates the, air consumption of your body, because your air eventually goes through your lungs, and then it carries blood, helps carry blood through your bloodstream, and when you're running or doing any type of physical activity, your body will recognize how much blood is being sent and used, because blood goes in certain ways. When you're digesting food, it all goes to your gut. So when you're eating, it's also really good to keep breathing through your nose to send the right amount of oxygen into the bloodstream to help you digest your food. Grab some water before this match starts. So we're getting regulated air quality. We're getting temperature-controlled air quality every time we breathe through our nose. When we breathe through our mouth, it still hits the lungs, but a lot of it goes into the gut. If you notice, a lot of the air will go into the gut. It might make you bloated as a result. It's weird, but you could see yourself breathing through your nose, expanding the lungs and the chest cavity, which I know there's also yoga breathing that forces you to breathe and take in oxygen through the stomach and then the lungs and then out the lungs and then out the stomach. Like that's yoga breathing for sure. And that's perfectly fine, because you are going to have still your lungs being filled with that air from your nose breathing. But when you're breathing primarily through the gut, through your mouth that sends it directly to your gut, well, you're robbing it of those two things. You're robbing the quantity of the air you're consuming. It's changing that. A lot of it's being sent in your stomach and your lungs, but majority in your stomach. And it's not temperature regulated. So you're getting hot air or cold air, depending on the temperature outside. So the best thing you can do for your optimal health of reducing inflammation is to learn proper breathing. Breathing helps lower inflammation. And that's not the only thing. Ice packs will help if you have injury, if you have a burn especially, that's creating all this inflamed area. You definitely need ice, which is a great source of anti-inflammation. So before you look for, the aspirin or the Tylenol or the ibuprofen, look to ice and breathing, getting more quality air through your lungs, slowing your breath, deepening the amount of air you're intaking. And yeah, you'll find that the body will respond a little bit better towards that inflammation. I'm not saying it's going to cure you of all that inflammation. Like, you could come out of it still feeling a little injured, right? But it's there to help reduce inflammation. So look at the air quality of how you're breathing and regulate that as much as you can based on your breath work and how much air you're pulling in. And yeah, you'll see the results. Oftentimes I need to remember, especially going back to my rib injuries, when you injure a rib, here's a good example. The first time I broke a rib, I was told, again, not to go to the doctor, because really there's nothing they can do at the doctor's office for a broken rib. Yeah, they might x-ray, make sure you're not puncturing anything. Like, you would know if you were puncturing a lung, like, the second you do it, because it wouldn't be just a sharp pain, but you could possibly start coughing up blood if you punctured a lung from a rib injury. So that's a good little observation to make. Gauge yourself. Hey, am I coughing up blood? Yeah, there's a sharp pain every time I inhale to that, 65 to 75% capacity. Yeah, that's normal. You can experience that for 6 weeks with a broken rib. The first time I broke a rib, it was in March, and where I live, it snows around that time. So it was already kind of cold flu season anyway. And I was about 19, and so I didn't go to the doctors, which is fine, but I heard to wrap it, wrap your rib to help, kind of keep it in place, keep it healing. And I'm like, okay. So I took saran wrap, because that's the only thing I had at the time before I bought, an actual wrap. And I would saran wrap my body, basically my whole chest area, my whole rib area, and I would keep that on for the whole day and even night. The problem with that, it was limiting the amount of air that I was intaking greatly. The problem with breaking a rib is that, it hurts to breathe. It hurts to fill up the capacity of your lungs, like I was saying, past 65, 75%, because that's when it starts that's when it starts hurting, and you don't want to breathe that much. But it is ultimately important. It is necessary to breathe in close to 100%, especially when you broke a rib. When you break a rib, it's prone to give you illness. I got the flu, and I never get the flu. I was a young, healthy kid, 19, in martial arts, working out. I was still eating junk food, but, I had never gotten the flu. And some could say, well, yeah, the flu is a virus. It is. But if you deprive the air in your body, then you can't fight off illness. So my body had been able to fight off flu. Young, healthy kids usually don't get stricken down with the flu, especially ones that go to martial arts tournaments, which it happened in. So I was stricken down with the flu after coming back from a martial arts tournament. I got kicked in the rib really, really hard, and it broke my rib. So I was, healthy enough to do that, and I felt pretty good, but I remember not breathing in fully because it would hurt. So I was already wrapped, I was already compressing my ribs and the lung area, my chest cavity, and I wasn't sucking in air as much as I could because I was saying, oh, it hurts, and I don't want to, keep hurting it because it's pain, and pain is bad, right? So I did two things bad, and I learned my lesson because, I got sick. And sure enough, I learned that, people can get sick, even the flu-like symptoms, when they break a rib, because they're not sucking in air quality as much, the quantity rather, and if they wrap it, then it's restricting your lungs from fully expanding. Oh man. So lesson learned, I don't do that again. Every rib break that I've had since then, I haven't gotten sick, because I've forced myself to suck in the air, to fill up my lungs to total capacity, even though it hurts. And I keep telling myself, this is actually good because I'm kind of stretching out the ribs back in place. When you break a rib, it kind of indents a little bit, and you want to fill out the lungs, fill out the air capacity as much as you can to hopefully push those bones back in place. So yeah, that was a lesson learned the hard way for me. And I definitely say that I could offer that advice to anybody that breaks a rib, because, hey, I'm a master at breaking ribs. I've broken 4, and I've had at least 1 bruised rib. So broken 1 with definitely a bruised rib to follow, which is not healthy. Don't break a rib, kids. It's not all that's cracked up to be. Yeah, I'm sure if I did have x-rays on my chest cavity, the doctor would be like, look at all these cracked ribs. Yeah, at least 3 on one side and 2 on the other. Oh my gosh. Awful. So yeah, don't do that. Broken ribs are not fun. So air quality is everything. Posture is everything. Those help you maintain, I think, a healthy lifestyle, because air, we were talking about yesterday how the word spirituality means the breath of life. The etymology of the word spirituality means breath of life. Isn't it funny how a lot of disciplines in the religious circles focus around breathing? Yoga, Buddhists, meditating, calming the breath, calming the mind through the breath. Very Zen practice way of easing the mind, or getting into a sacred space, a quiet space in the mind, is to, start breathing deeply, slowly. When we're breathing rapidly, like I'm doing right now, the mind can't rest. And my mind is about as active as anyone's. So when you have a chance, practice some meditation, deep breathing. Try to deepen your breath and slow your breath. And just sit. Man, the other night, I felt so frazzled. A lot of stress going on. And I was like, I don't even want to turn on the television tonight. Usually my wife and I turn on the TV, we watch either some YouTube videos or some videos, some movies, and I'm just like, I don't want to focus on anything. I'd rather just turn it off and focus on the black screen and just sit there and breathe. And I forgot how good that feels. Even if you're watching a good show, one of your favorite shows, or even a funny movie you've seen before, something with a positive, uplifting vibe, you can still feel stress. Not just from the movie or elements in it, but you having to engage and think about the movie. That, for me, is hard. It shows me that my mind is still working even when I think I'm taking a break. Just take a break, watch some funny videos, or watch a good movie. Your brain's still working. And we know it's really hard in this day and age to stay focused on one thing. We hear the term of attention deficit disorders. Yeah, it's real. I feel it sometimes where you could be just sitting on the couch watching a movie, but you're looking at your phone. Something's on the screen, and you're looking at the tiny screen. Why? I don't know. It happens to me. It can happen to anybody. It doesn't make sense, because just 20 years ago, when we didn't have smartphones, maybe when we were just getting the iPhone out there, but not the internet phones and social media so much. Yeah, when you were watching a movie, that's all you were doing. And how quickly have we shifted in this generation to now having 2 forms of focus going on at the same time, the TV and your phone. Wow, kind of painful for the mind, right? Gotta force myself to drink water every match. Win or lose, every match. So that right there is another problem in our day and age, simply by use of technology. Technology is a tool. Technology is neither good or bad. You can wield it for good, or you can wield it for bad. And if it distracts you, if it creates all this mental noise that's unnecessary, then it becomes negative. If you use it for the right moments, at the right times, in the right amounts, then it's a positive tool. So use it wisely. It's a double-edged sword. So that's one thing I've been forcing myself. All right, prime time. Let's go prime time. I love that map. I'm forcing myself. If I'm gonna be watching a movie or anything, on my phone down. And it's hard, because even just last night, I picked it up. My wife was showing me something, and it was great. And after like 15 minutes, oh, you know, I want to look at something on my phone real quick. Why? I'm already looking at something. So it happens to me, it can happen to you. We can observe it, you know, witness it, and like, oh, you know what? No, it can wait. Whatever it is, unless it's a phone call, then we pause the movie, and we say, okay, I'm going to take this phone call. But who calls me? Who calls you, right? Even text can wait, unless it's critical. You're like, oh my gosh, please call me. I can't call you. Whatever. Yeah, something like that. But really, it's not that. It's just, oh, here's a favorite video, or hey, let's hang out sometime, or hey, you know, what do you think about this? Like, asynchronous. Live back in the moment. So meditation is a powerful mental health tool that I've kind of forgotten over the years. It was funny, I was at the store just last week on like Thursday night, Wednesday night, and I was talking to the cashier because he had a crystal wrapped in copper around his neck, and it had little stones in them. They were each of the chakras. So he had amethyst, he had sodalite, he had aventurine, he had topaz, he had jasper, he had, yeah, all the good colors. And I looked at him like, hey, I love your necklace, dude. He's like, thanks, yeah, I made it myself, because he was a wire worker. My wife was a wire worker too. She used to make her own jewelry and sell it, doing the same type of stuff, wrapping crystals or jewelry in copper or silver. And I'm like, man, I remember, and I still have stones I carry with me, that I would carry a different stone for each day of the week, and I would wear a necklace corresponding to that crystal. And so I would be like supercharged, right? And he reminded me I need to get back to that. Because what did it show me? I mean, was I healing my body? Was I truly supercharging my body? I don't know. Probably not. But it was worth a shot. It's kind of like praying. You know, people who pray. Do they really know it's doing something? They can't be for sure. It's hard to know for sure. But what's the harm in doing it? There's no harm. No harm in praying. It's like, I'd rather do it and it work than not do it at all. Because it's harmless, it's painless, and yeah, I dare say that it could work. Power manifestation is real. So back to crystals. Let's talk about crystals for a minute. I used to collect them. I still do. We had a huge collection, and when we moved into my dream home here, we have this big rocky yard in the back. Most of it's xeriscaped, and there's a lot of rocky area. And so we said, you know what? These crystals need to be out of our boxes, out of our bags, sitting in our drawers, and they need to be out in the sunlight or the moonlight to charge. That's where they love to charge. Certain crystals attune to the sun, other crystals and minerals attune to the moon. And they are little batteries. They contain geometric shapes imprisoned, there's that word prism, they're imprisoned inside these physical shapes, these geometric structures based on frequency of light. That's why they're different colors. Why an amethyst is different than an aventurine. Why is an aventurine different than a moonstone? Like, really, why is a sodalite different than a jasper? Because they are forged in different elements relative to their geometric structures that are based on their physical vibrations. And their vibrations come from light. Boy, light is all that makes up our reality. And you could argue that reality isn't fixed. You could argue that reality can be molded. Just like you take a ball of clay, you can mold it into anything. It starts out as a square or a rectangle block of clay. You could shape it into a ball, you could shape it into a triangle, you could shape it into the, Michelangelo's David. Like, so many things you could do with a lump of clay. Rocks and stones and minerals and crystals, those are the same things. I feel like when the Earth was formed, it went through a phase of materialization based on the sun and the moon and the frequencies that they give off. So we know that the sun is white dielectric energy and the moon is negative magnetic energy. That's just the yin and yang that we live in. Pretty cool, actually. It's still a miracle to me, and yeah, a miracle that the sun and the moon are the same size, yes, from our perspective, but that to me is just a miracle as life creating itself, or life, flowing outward of the universe. Because I dare say that that's just about impossible, because based on their positions, shouldn't they be slightly off? Shouldn't the moon be bigger than the sun? Or shouldn't the sun be bigger than the moon? Just by a little bit, but no. They appear to be the exact same size. I'll leave you with that. So the sun, dielectric white energy, light, positive photons being sent through the Earth, and yeah, through the Earth, because the Earth does not stop the electrons, the photons from the sun, because the sun's photons permeate everything. They go through our bodies, they go through the Earth. Yeah, even though the Earth is a grounding ion discharge for positive photons, yeah, it's a grounding point, but it doesn't neutralize it. So what's crazy about that is that when the Earth is being formed, in certain levels of pressure, we get different crystals and minerals. That is insane, right? If you look at the geometric structures of all these crystals in their different forms throughout, different parts of the world, you will see different geometric shapes. All these different shapes and structures are totally unique to their vibration. So the vibration is formed during that turmoil, that struggle, that pressure. When they do that, instantly the crystal takes hold of that shape. So it's like when the Earth was being formed, it went through all this turbulence, right? Having rocks and meteors and all sorts of things thrown at it. We had lavas going off, fountains of lava and magma flowing through the Earth. All these water, rivers, oceans, tornadoes, throwing things around and pressurizing through the upper atmosphere and the lower atmosphere, through gases, all this stuff going on, right? So these crystals and these minerals had certain properties that were hardened during those turmoil events and during those times of pressure. You can just look at it as pressure, because it's talking about gases, pressures in the air, in the atmospheres, but also the pressures from being, actually forced in between, big pieces of earth and rock, and those different minerals that were formed. Because here's something that's going to be figured out in the future. All the elements on Earth are from the other planets in our solar system. We get mercury from Mercury. We get copper from Venus. We get lead from Saturn. In the future, and I'm going out on a limb here, in the future they're going to discover that Saturn's core is a lead ball. Okay? We get uranium from Uranus. We get neptunium. When we discover the element neptunium, it's going to come from Neptune. All right? So there's a lot of things that happen in there. We get gold from the sun. We get silver from the moon. What I feel like is when the Earth was being formed, oh yeah, the sun was whipping its solar flares at the Earth, like just simply whipping it. And during those times of heat and pressure being whipped with solar flares, when we didn't have an atmosphere, or we had a very thin one, because the Earth was still forming it, right? But yeah, gold happened because it's hardened with the frequency of the Earth based on the photon dielectric white energy of the sun, and boom, gold happens. We don't get gold from the Earth, we get gold from the sun. Same thing with the moon. Some say that actually the moon was part of the Earth. Yeah, 100%. The moon was part of the Earth because it was formed out of it during a cataclysm that happened eons ago, this moon was part of the Earth because it had smashed into the Earth and it became part of the Earth. Guess what? Part of that material is still here on Earth, and we recognize it as silver. Same thing with other planets, just in smaller quantities. That's why uranium is pretty hard to get, right? I don't know, maybe cobalt comes from Jupiter. No, I kid. So there's a lot of spirit science, I would say, with how we get certain elements into the Earth. And you know what? We get those elements in our bodies too. It's pretty beautiful. I bounce out too far. So one thing I could say about energy in general is crystals are helping us. I call them batteries. Yeah, they're little batteries. We get them charged. We get them charged by the sun. We're the ones that feed off the sun, like quartz. And then the ones that, like the moon, like, sodalite, amethyst, moonstones. Those love to be charged by the moon. And those stones, those precious metals, affect us in different ways because we have shared elements in our bodies, especially our minds too. That's why lead never leaves us. That's one thing about Saturn. We can talk about Saturn one day. Maybe we will when we go back to Black Ops 4 and play Voyage of Despair. That map, for me, is a very Saturnian map. Not just the Easter egg, but parts of the map. Its vessel. But yeah, the body feeds off of this because our minds are electric too. Everything that reverberates and spins and has a type of rotation has a vibration and a frequency that can be attuned to certain fields of energy. It creates also a electromagnetic field. So our brains and our hearts create an electromagnetic sphere. Our brain does, and our heart is even bigger actually, which is quite fascinating. You would think that all the electrical synapses of the brain that are firing off, all those little circuits that are going off like a circuit board, wouldn't that be creating a big field of electromagnetic energy? It is, but the heart is 3 times as big. It's crazy. I dare say that dogs live in the heart more than we do. They can sense our emotions because their field is bigger and stronger than ours. And so they can sense, when dogs sense things, they're sensing it with their hearts. They're not using their brains. They're not, using their logic of, this and that, or I heard something, or I did this. Yeah, they might hear something, but I bet you they felt it first. Here's a great example. Oh boy, back 6.5 years ago, March 2020, I had in my area an earthquake in our state. It was like a 6.5, a big one. We haven't had one of those in a couple of years, decades maybe. I don't really know. But they had that earthquake, and it was felt throughout the state. Bigger parts than others, and other parts it created more damage than others. And it was hard because, it just came out of nowhere, so to speak. What was interesting is my wife left for work earlier that morning, and this is right after we all were sent home to work from home during COVID. So it's like right as COVID was happening, this earthquake happened like 2 weeks later. Yeah, awful, right? So I'm still in bed with the dogs. I have both my dogs in bed with me, where they belong. And all of a sudden, my dog, both of them really, alerted up, barked, and then jumped off the bed and ran downstairs. And I'm like, maybe they heard something. Maybe a truck or delivery driver, whatever. They like to be overly cautious and protective. 7 seconds later, the earthquake happened. Shook me. I woke up. I'm like, dogs, what are you doing? Go back to bed. Put my head back down, close my eyes. Boom, 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 shake, shake, shake. Everything's shaking. I'm like, okay, this is something that that I am now attuned to, the dogs are far more aware because of their heart vibration. I'm pretty sure it's all through their heart that they can sense. Because they didn't hear the earthquake. Maybe they did. But I'm sure they felt it in their heart first. Now, here's a controversial subject. I want to talk about frequencies and vibrations and energy centers. Our hearts give out and receive the biggest amount of electromagnetic energy. And I dare say it's because of the pulse. The pulse is what is giving these hearts this bigger magnetic field. Our minds are different. They don't really pulse, they contract. They contract with the electricity and the synapses and all the things that make the brain work. Where the heart pumps, it's a pulse. The earth does the same thing. The word heart is an anagram to earth. As we are connected to Mother Gaia, yes, the earth that the ancients knew all too well is a living being. Controversial, I know, but it's not so much once you really get down to the roots of reality. The earth is an 8th or 9th dimensional being. We have not yet begun to even try to understand how the earth is this conscious being. But yeah, we know it's alive because we recognize everything that it gives us. We see as weather. The earth is alive because it gives off weather. It's not static. It's not always the same temperature in all the different continents. It doesn't stay stagnant. It doesn't stay stale. It evolves. It creates tornadoes to move things around. It creates earthquakes to shake things up. It creates tornadoes and tsunamis and water pulling from one area to move to another. It does this because it's alive. It's an 8th or 9th dimensional, highly evolved consciousness. And that thing is connected to our hearts. Because of the reverberations that the earth gives, our hearts receive. Because our hearts, I dare say, are smarter than our minds. Simply because we have, through our hearts, a direct connection to Mother Gaia, this 8th or 9th dimensional higher consciousness. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. When I started to really realize that, it happened during reading, it happened during meditation, it happens during fasting, it happens during long periods of struggle and physical exhaustion. Yeah, I feel my heart for the first time in a long time when I started taking better care of my health. That's why health is so good, because really what we're after is strengthening the heart. When we lose weight, when we feel better, when we wake up better, when we have more energy, these are side effects of having a better heart. That's why when you go to the doctor, they check your heart. They always check your heart rate. Yeah, they'll weigh you. Yeah, they might check your, blood pressure. Yes, blood pressure is important. Your breathing is super important. But your heart, they will always check. They need to hear it. They need to see how is it doing, because heart health is overall health. If your heart isn't doing right, you can be eating right, you could be drinking all the water, sleeping, but if your heart is heavy, I dare say heavier than a feather, yeah, you will suffer, especially at the time of your death. Because what happens, again, highly controversial subject here, at the time of death, we are enlightened. Everyone, doesn't matter who you are, how evil you become, we are illuminated to all of our good deeds, but most importantly, our bad deeds, or things that make our hearts heavy. Anything that's worn on the heart throughout the years of our existence will remain because of it's imprinted into our DNA at that level. Our hearts are the last thing that goes, usually, unless, we suffer a heart attack, or we suffer something abrupt to the heart. Yeah, then unfortunately, we might not experience that quick pain or quick enlightenment phase, where eternity shrinks into a millisecond. But it's always our heart that leaves last. Our brains will slowly shut down. Kind of reminds me of like the Terminator movie where the machine, shuts down when Terminator first dies. Kind of like that, your computer dies. But that pulse, that electromagnetic pulse that's connected to the earth, it's like the earth says, I'm giving you one last millisecond to remember. Before you die, you must remember. Yeah, so the earth very much so knows that our hearts are suffering. And guess what? The earth is healing. How does the earth heal us? Through its weather, through its sunlight, through its water, through its air, through its earth. All these elements is how the earth heals us. It's like going back to basics. We go back to, oh nice, this guy, level 1000. We go back to basics as we connect to our hearts, because we go back to connecting with the earth, just like the ancients. In every culture around the world, and I can say from the Native American standpoint, because I live in America, you should know the natives of your countries and how they connect to the world around them. Yeah, the ancients knew that we were connected to the earth, and that's why it was so important to protect the earth, because the earth is our healer, the earth is our mother, the earth, as far as I know, is our creator and our protector. The earth is everything to us. The sun and the moon are ancillary deities, in my opinion. Yeah, the sun could be your god, the moon could be your god, but the earth will always be your prime creator, because it protects you, it heals you, it helps you, and it hears you. Let's get back to the earth. Alright, let's keep going. I background my app so we have a little jump on our spike there. We're not running a pace of 6 miles. And I've been trying to figure out this bug where my if your app backgrounds on your watch, it doesn't sync to my phone, which doesn't relay it to my Mac server. And so I need to get that bug fixed, because it's making my stats look way off. I'm not running a 6-minute mile, no way. Woo! I've never ran a 6-minute mile. I think the fastest I ever did when I was a kid was like 7.5. When they do those physical fitness tests, I think it was in probably a freshman or sophomore in high school. And they're like, okay, 1 mile. And they're like, run it as fast as you can. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I think I did it in like 7.5 minutes. My brother did. He did his in like 6.5, man. My brother's great. So, man, to get back to that, right? Back to the youth. That's impressive. All right, so let's get back to the earth any way we can. It starts with all the things we're talking about. It starts with healing your heart. It starts with listening to your heart. It starts with becoming aware of your health and taking ownership of your health. If we're true health champions, which on this channel, we're ninjas and we're health champions. We're fitness gurus, we're champions of our health, we're selfish of it. Yeah, we can get to that spot together. We can all make this world a healthier place, both mentally, physically, and now spiritually. And it starts very small. It starts with connecting your mind and your body. How do you do that? How do you connect your mind to your body? Well, it's kind of like circling the square, or actually the capstone at the top of the Giza Plateau pyramid. Those are time capsules. Those are hints from the ancients telling us this is how you ascend from darkness. I can say that here. Black Ops is all about that term in zombies, ascend from darkness. Yeah, that term was created because they are teaching us through these games, and we'll talk more when we play zombies, about how you can free your mind. And to do that, you need to first understand it, you need to sit with it, you need to heal it. You heal your mind through your gut, all these things. You do this because it's the only thing, it's your birthright. It's what we were born to do. The only thing we are here on earth to do is be the light and spread the light. When we are enlightened, we are light, we are happy, we are positive, light force beings. Like I said, the earth is our creator, but the earth says, now you get up and do the hard work. Okay, how do you do the hard work? Well, you gotta suffer. Just as many prophets of old have suffered, just as many, deities of past religions have suffered. You too must suffer so that you can be evolved. The only way to evolve, sort of like hardening a diamond. Get a lump of coal, put it under pressure and stress. It will turn into a diamond soon enough. So you do that as much as you can for as long as you can, and you will start to witness that change. You will become the change that we are meant to be in this world. So suffer great, find your challenge, suffer miles. That's a good quote from Chevelle. You find a challenge, something that doesn't feel easy. It shouldn't feel easy. Something that, kind of makes you feel like you should stop, take a break. No, you push through that wall. You push through that challenge, and you say to yourself, not today, devil. Not today, devil. I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to suffer. I'm going to become greater, because that's what I'm here to do. A diamond doesn't get forged by sleeping in a nice bed with silk sheets, being lazy, procrastinating, avoiding conflict, avoiding struggle, avoiding pain. No, a diamond is forged at a pressure. A diamond, just like us, is forged through pressure and strife and hardening, hardships. That's what happens. So we find our challenge, we suffer greatly. There's my bloodthirsty, there it is, boys. We got another bloodthirsty out of the way. Got him. Okay, one more bloodthirsty with a sniper. And I'm sad to say, but we're done with it. It's been a crunchy sniper, let's be honest. It's been crunchy. But we gotta get on with other sniper rifles and other guns. We can't be sniping with this VS Recon for long. Let's see if we can do it in the next 2+ miles here. Pick up the pace. Come on, let's get running, guys. I'm only doing a 6 and almost 7 minute mile. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's like I'm beyond sprinting. But yeah, we need to get our pace up. We need to find that right cadence to hit our goal. We're getting a huge monster run this weekend. It has to happen. We have to get it. We have to hit it. Because, man, I dare say in 2.5 weeks, we're looking at 26 miles, ninjas. 26 miles is no joke. So yeah, we can get it done. We can get it done. Just gotta focus, right? Gotta focus. Alright. Where are you guys? They're hiding. We spawn flipping yet? Usually I can tell. Yep, here we go. Spawn flipping. This is too easy with the sniper to get him from here. What did we get? Like 3 people right there last time? It's pretty funny. I've gotten 3 Hail Marys, cross map Hail Marys on this map. I love it. I love Hijack. It's such a fun map. One of my favorites returning. We got like at least one during the Christmas event, the holiday event. That was really fun. And then like 2 right after it. One with my brother. We were just playing for fun, and I hit one on off stream while playing with my bro, and it was awesome. But yeah, definitely love this map. How we doing on time? Come on, we could do 2 miles. 2 miles in 20 minutes. That's our goal. That's not hard at all, man. That's not hard at all. Pick up the pace. Keep running. We're good on water. We'll skip right now. That gun's pretty tasty. I like that pistol. Bullseye, right? No snitch, it says. I still haven't unlocked the 1911s, or did I? I think I did. I haven't even touched them. Because, yeah. Ooh, Blackheart. Plaza's good, though. I love Plaza. Let's play Blackout, or Blackheart. See if we can get those long distance sniper kills. Yeah, we're just one more, right? One more away with this VS Recon. Cool. What is the deal of the day? Scare tactics, huh? That's cool. Free gift. Oh, it's a battle pass. Of course. Alright, let's see. What other... Shadow, that's right. So it's the Shadow is the next one. And then we'll leave the Hawker for last. Because Hawker is going to be so tasty. Hawker is the crunchy weapon. Hey, Toshin! I love this map. It's got some long spots. Really, what you do is you rush them, and then you hang back in your spawn. And that's how you get them coming. And so you could just rush them first, get the response, go back, hang by your spawn, and you should get 5 kills that way. That's the plan. I'm sticking to it. Sticking with it. What's the temperature in here? 75, looking fine. 75 is fine. A couple things I need to remember for the next long run is halfway during the run, I need to go back and reset the temperature of my house because I have all the vents closed except my room. Because, oh yeah, it got to be almost 85 degrees in here one time we were doing a marathon. And I'm like, man, my brain instantly started to boil. I could feel it. I'm like, this is not good. So, First Blood, what's up? Nice. And heat is insanely hard to exercise in. I used to do some challenges. I used to self-challenge myself by running in the heat. Crazy, I know, but I used to run in 100-degree temperatures with a 20-pound bag as part of my daily commute. And I did that to build endurance and stamina. Oh boy, yeah, I was 7 years younger, 8 years younger, 9 years younger. And your body can handle that for certain periods of time. And it was only in 15-minute spurts. So I'd run 15 minutes, jump on a train, rest for 9, jump back out there, right back into the heat, run for another 15 minutes, run home, and boom, that was it. So yeah, I know that it can be done, but it's a really, really unnecessary strain on the brain as well as it is on the body. The body can take a lot of abuse, but when you start overheating the brain, yeah, your brain will totally shut down. Like, you will go through all sorts of problems when your brain shuts down. Now, I found that my crash that I happened at mile 21 during our last marathon attempt happened because I had two things as a deficit. I didn't have enough electrolytes, I wasn't in ketosis, and I wasn't having enough glycogen reserves. I didn't take any sugar packets. And boy, oh boy, that pained me. I crashed because, yeah, my fat reserves were depleted, as well as my glycogen. My glycogen was instantly depleted within like the first half marathon. And then 7 more miles, yeah, I didn't have much more fat to give. And so my body was like, hey, you're sipping on electrolytes, but I need something. So it was really foolish of me to go in there for that run out of ketosis without the honey, gel, sugar packets. You need those, you just do, if you're not in ketosis. So, lesson learned, this next marathon, even Sunday when we do a monster run, I'm still going to be sucking on those packets for sure, 100%. There's a high risk and little reward of doing it without those. I could be risking my health, you know, almost going to the hospital type stuff. Like, that's one thing that I felt. You know, I've talked to marathon runners, I've talked to ultra marathon runners, guys that have run 40, 50 miles plus. Insane, guys, insane. I'm talking warriors, absolute warriors. And yeah, they say your body will go into shock. It'll do weird things if you aren't giving it what it needs. Hydration, nutrition, glucose, all these things. It will start going into shock and then shut down. One guy, he said after his Iron Man, he had to go in the hospital because he was definitely in shock. And that to me is so scary. Like, why would you risk your health? Yeah, it's an Iron Man. Not many people can do Iron Man, and I give all the praise and respect to Iron Man trainers, performers, endurance athletes. Yeah, they make me, what I do, look like, oh, you're just scratching the surface. Because they do a marathon, and then they do 100 miles on the bike, 100 miles on a cycle. Oh my gosh. And then they do 2.5 miles in the pool. Now I dare say I'm pretty good in the pool, and I'm okay riding a bike, but not for 100 miles. 100 miles on a bike? Oh my gosh. And yeah, they're those super light aluminum frame bikes that you could lift with your pinky that have those certain wheels that when they spin, they definitely fly, and you can get going up to like 30 miles an hour in those suckers. Yeah, 100 miles of that and a marathon. Like, man, after these marathons, I can't do anything else, man. I could barely walk a victory mile. And that's all I feel good about, because my body is like, you're kind of low on energy here, buddy. So yeah, these guys that run those Iron Man, oh man, mad respect to you guys. You guys are the real ninjas. You guys are the real warriors. I am just scratching the surface. Oh. So yeah, the benefits of listening to your body add up. So there's nothing that you should be, oh man, that guy got me. There's nothing that you should be doing that heavily strains you to a point of injury. There's been days where I cut the run short and I say, no, my knee's hurting, or no, my ankle's hurting. We're only doing, 5 miles a day. Like, yeah, you should listen to your body. Because if you push through and risk injury, then what's the point? You're gonna have to take now more time off to recover from an injury, not just recover from the physical workout, but now an injury, and that's gonna cost you time, it's gonna make you miss your goals, whatever. So honestly, it's better to definitely not do those things. It's better to just know your limitations, listen to your body, pull back, just pull back, and you will know, hey, the body can recover, we'll come back another time. Like, okay, I was gonna do a monster run over Freedom Weekend. I kind of knew that was gonna be hard for me, only because I knew I was gonna be celebrating. How can you not celebrate the 4th of July here in America? Like, really, honestly, you have to, which means you're resting, you're playing with family. I played with my dog in the pool, my wife in the pool, having fun in the sun. A time to be alive and appreciate this awesome, good, God-given country. Yeah, that's what you should do. So I knew that, I'm like, you know what, I had planned a long run, and I knew that it's probably not gonna happen. And I was okay with that. It gave me more time to heal. So here I am, back in the grind, a little bit more rested than I need to be, but that's fine. Because I just reset my goal. I said, hey, instead of a marathon on the 19th, we're gonna push it back to the 26th, another week. That's fine. If I had signed up for, a sanctioned marathon event, then that's different. And I'm not dogging anyone that goes to those sanctioned marathons. They're safer. They're much safer than doing it by yourself. But I'm doing this at my house, in my home, with my wife downstairs, that if I need her, she can be there to help me out. But I'm smart. I listen to my body. I know, hey, I'm hitting this milestone. I have my personal trainer, AI, training me with electrolytes timing and the honey sugar packets timing, so that I keep my glucose up, I keep my energy levels up. And so I'm doing it safe. Yeah. Cool, we are 1 mile away to get this 10K done. We got 10 minutes to do it. I think it can happen. We just need one more bloodthirsty while we're at it. That'd be nice. One more bloodthirsty would be tasty. I'd be so happy to see it. We'll see. Well, yeah, you listen to the body, because the body is stronger than we make it out to be. The body has a lot more vibrational thought and memory. Like even cells contain memory. When I learned that, I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, even the cells at a cellular level contain memories because they contain water. And water is another mechanism for storing memory. The ancients knew that. There's a symbol called the Sriyantra, which is a sequence of pyramids, or triangles rather, 5 up, 4 down, and that is called the Sri Yantra. It's Hindu, and the tonoscope, which is a device that measures vibrations in water, can measure that frequency that produces that image, that geometric shape. The Sri Yantra is the vibration of the frequency 432 hertz, or Om. The Om is the Sri Yantra, and that is reverberated and reflected in water and observed by a tonoscope. Is it crazy? It's so crazy that it makes sense, because you have the Aboriginals in New Zealand and Australia that play the didgeridoo, which I have one. I should probably bust it out. It's a little box one. But yeah, I can play the cello and the didgeridoo. And then the Buddhists and the Hindus of the East are chanting the same frequency. Come on now. There's got to be something to it. Here's what it is. That 432 hertz is our heart vibration energy, and you know what it is also? It's also the Earth's vibrational energy. They're the same thing. When our hearts are vibrating because of the electromagnetic pulse, it's sending off the same frequency as the Earth as it's spinning in the solar system. How cool is that? Isn't that some spirit science for you? I told you we'd talk about spirituality one day, and today's the day. But it's insane that the heart and the earth are connected, and here we can observe it with a tonoscope, or something that measures the frequency of sound so much that we can see the vibration it gives off in water. It's just that simple. So yeah, when I learned that, I was doing some, esoteric soul searching. I found that, and I said, this is the connection. This is that missing piece. The missing piece is what we couldn't see, because you can't see sound unless it's in water or fine grains of sand. I dare say the ancients back then were speaking around water or chanting in their temples with Tibetan bowls, either crystal bowls or these metal bowls made of copper, and they would witness the frequencies that would appear in those bowls based on what they were chanting. And so the Aboriginals of Australia and New Zealand saw that too, and so much that they made a device, the didgeridoo, that reflects that creates that sound. Oh my goodness. And that sound is healing. That sound is the sound of the earth. If we could only listen. Yeah, we could only learn. If we only listened. This is the sound of the earth, guys. There's some sacred science for you. That spirit science I learned, oh man, maybe 14 years ago. It shocked my world. I remember thinking, this is the connection. This is why our hearts are the most important organ in our bodies. Our brains, sure. No. Our lungs, yeah. Our hearts, yes. Our hearts are the most important organ in our body because they are a way we connect to the earth. Whew. That's some good stuff right there, man. That is some good stuff. And it's science. It's backed by science. That's why I call it spirit science, because, it's not really well known. Could be kind of pseudoscience if you ask, one of those left brain thinkers. But you ask the whole brain thinker that also connects to the heart, you go, you know what? There's something to this. There's something to this science, as long as we have the instruments to study it. And what's funny is, the ancients didn't need a tonoscope to know that. They could feel it. And so back then, we were more emotionally intelligent than we are now intellectually intelligent, so much that we didn't need all these scientific gadgets to measure the world around us because they could feel more of the world around us. Here we go full circle, back to the whole distraction game. Remember how I said like it's a common thing where people have attention deficit disorder? Yeah, it's a real thing. I feel it myself, where you're watching something and you're looking at your phone. So you're doing two things at the same time, but you're not paying attention to either. Yeah, that's a real thing. It's a real problem, and it's a real distraction. The ancients didn't have that. They didn't have any distractions. Think about only being focused on one thing at one time, your whole existence, your whole life. That's all you have is one focus. My goodness, I dare say that is how you become more zen. That's how you connect to the earth. You simply have to. There's like, it's the easy way, but for us here in the technology era, in the age of information, in the age of distractions, it's the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to do, to connect to the heart, to reach the heart center, that chakra, and that aventurine, that big electromagnetic pump. It's the hardest thing because we are so caught up in worldly distractions, materialism, and it happens. I feel it every day. You know, when I work at my job, I make a super conscious effort to just put some music on and not even look at my phone, because it doesn't matter. There are parts where I'm waiting for, my build to execute, when I'm not like writing code or reading code, and I'm just waiting for the build to run. Yep, there goes my distraction device again. Hey, look at me. And sure enough, you scroll. But then I have a sound input or output that says, hey, I'm done building. Then I can say, okay, put the phone down, put down the distraction, and regain focus. So find ways in your life. I can recommend, taking one day of the week to turn off your phone, to turn off your TV. And if you don't go outside, at least focus on one thing. If anything, focus on your breath. Focus on breathing. That's the biggest thing. Because return to breath means you return to sacred silence, which means you are able to listen to your heart and connect your heart back to the earth. And that's about it. That's it for today's discussion. We are talking about the heart today, because heart health is the biggest health that matters. Yeah, we talk brain health, we talk stomach health, gut health, we talk physical health, muscles breaking down, rebuilding, we talk nutrition, we talk everything here. We're not just a gaming channel. Yeah, we'll talk about the game every now and again, but boy, sometimes you need something fresh to talk about, right? We are almost there. We only got a couple more to get through. We are so there. Yeah, it's awful we can't get this bloodthirsty in, but we'll pick it up. Hey, we got one today. We'll get maybe one tomorrow. Think about only doing a 5K tomorrow to give us adequate resting time. Take Friday off, take Saturday off, and hit the ground running Sunday. Monster run. Looking at maybe 20 miles. Whew, it's gonna be crazy. We'll see. We'll see if we can hit it. But we can if we rest well, keep our nutrition up, rest our minds, mentally prepare. Next time we're gonna talk about mental preparation. Mind over matter, mental preparation. Because that matters, that matters so much. Preparing the mind, the body will follow. Cool. All right, we weren't last place. We got one bloodthirsty away. We're done with the VS Recon. We'll hit that tomorrow. I'm sure of it. We get a bloodthirsty a day, it seems. Gotta oil the treadmill. Be good on it. Let's just bust out this next little bit. We gotta get back to the grind. So listen to the heart. Find your breath. Take the time to disconnect. Turn off your phone. Turn off the television. If you can, go outside. It's really hot in my area right now, so it makes it really difficult to be outside for very long. In fact, this weekend it's supposed to be over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's gonna be a pretty hot run we're gonna do on Sunday. But we're prepared to struggle. We're prepared to suffer, because that's what ninjas do. We find our suffering and we go through it. So yeah, I think we're just about done here, but we're gonna look at our progression just to check where we are here. Oh, we have a new color coming up, purple. Nice. All right, let's see what we're doing on our camos. So assault rifles are all arc light, but we're gonna get those eventually. Tempest, but I'm saving them towards the end because they're gonna be fun. SMGs, let's go back. SMGs are all Tempest. We're golden on those. Keep hitting the wrong button. Shotguns, we haven't touched, but yet we need that calling card. We need that calling card about how many, shotgun kills. Might have to revisit that in the future. LMGs, done. Tempest. Marksman rifles, done. Tempest. Snipers, we got the Strider. Whew, that was kind of tough getting the Strider. VS Recon's next, and then the Shadow. And then we're gonna finish strong with the Hawker. That's gonna be golden, man. That's gonna be awesome. And the pistols, whew, we're gonna switch right back over into hardcore, because we gotta get those pistols, Tempest. So we'll save that maybe for our next grind after snipers and launchers. So we'll do pistols and launchers for hardcore and special. So we're gonna use the Ravager. Ravager could go at any time, really, I think. So we'll see. We'll see. But then after that, we're gonna be there. I think we hit our goal. I just switched it here. Because then melee is gonna be our final battle. We're gonna start with the knife and finish the Tempest grind with the ballistic snipe, my favorite weapon of all time. And I think we might get the katana Tempest as well, and then Singularity, because it's a ninja weapon, right? All right, guys, we are done. I hope you guys got something out of today's discussion, today's health rant, because health matters to me. It's one of my passions. I'm super passionate about. It should matter to you. Become selfish of your health. Become prideful to protect your health. And as always, listen to your heart. It's there waiting, and so is the earth. Find that connection and foster a good one. As always, it's a privilege and an honor for me here, Kevin the Ninja, to be running and gunning on this channel, the Moto Dojo. We're victorious in our 6 miles. We're gonna see you tomorrow for our 5K. Let's go get Wednesday, everybody. We've earned it. See you tomorrow, bye.